Welcome to Kip DC Math! Today we're going to model 4-digit numbers. But to really understand why our model looks a certain way, we're going to talk about a little bit of math history. Let's imagine a long time ago before symbols for numbers were even invented. Archaeologists have actually found a really special artifact in the Congo on the continent of Africa that shows how the earliest people kept track of numbers. This is called the Ichango bone, and it's a really big deal because it's 20,000 years old. And it shows us that people in Africa were thinking about numbers really early. It wasn't actually until like 16,000 years after people kept track of the numbers with the tick marks that they started to develop a numeric system in lots of different civilizations across the world. We got our system from the Hindu-Arabic system that developed in India. Those ancient symbols looked like this. And they stood for the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But it would have been a lot to try to memorize a different symbol for every single new number that someone could come up with, especially if you wanted to figure out really big numbers. And so what they decided to do was they decided to change the values of these numerals based on their position. So 1 is not the same as 1, 0, because it's in a different position or a different place. And it's not the same as 100 because it's in a different position or place. Today, we have a special guest to tell us about the values of those digits when they're in different places.
Hi, Kip DC. It's Miss Simmons from Promise. Before we begin to build our numbers or model our numbers, I want to make sure that you understand the relationship between your place values. So say Miss Simmons had some ones, okay? To be a bit more specific, say I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And when I add another 1, I now have 10 ones. Now, when I get to 10 ones, I actually have too many for this particular place value. And I know that because my next place value is 10s. So when I have 10 ones, what I can do is I can actually regroup it for a group of 10. Now, I know this works because if we line these up, we can see that they're equivalent or the same. So if I had 10 ones, I know I can make a group of 10. Let's see what happens when I have 10 tens. If I had 10 tens, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, now I have 10 groups of 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we know that that is equivalent to 100. And so instead of having 100 in the tens place, what I can do is I can regroup it for a group of 100, which we call a flat. Let's think about what 10 hundredths makes. Here I have one group of 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 groups of 100. Wow, that is huge. If I have 10 groups of 100, we know that that's equivalent to 1,000 because there's 1,000 of these little bitty ones, right? 1,000 of these little cubes here. And so I can actually regroup this 10 100ths for one group of 1,000.
Now that Miss Simmons showed us what all the different values look like, we're going to want to be able to draw these to show our work. So for the ones cube, we're just going to draw a little dot because it's really tiny and it's really easy to just draw a little dot. For that tens rod that's made up of those little cubes, we're going to draw a line because it looks like a line. Square that's made by putting those 10 rods together, those 10 lines together, we sometimes call it a flat. We can just draw a square. And for the big cube that we make, when we put 10 flats together, we're going to draw the square. And then we're going to draw another little thing behind it to make it seem like it's still going back. Now let's go back to Miss Simmons so she can tell us how to draw a specific number. Miss Simmons, we're wondering how you model a 4-digit number.
What I would first do is draw my place value chart. So you would draw your place value chart with your thousands, your hundreds, your tens, and your ones. Awesome. So if I'm going to build 1,234, I'm going to start with my lowest place value. Even though we read our numbers from left to right, when we're building our numbers, we start with the lowest place value because we never know when we need to regroup. So if I start with the lowest place value, that will be my ones. So just like yesterday, 1,234, I have 4 ones. So I'm going to place 4 ones in my chart.
Awesome. 4 little dots for the 4 ones. Great.
Then I'll go to my next place value, 1,234, 30. Oh, I know 30 is 3 groups of 10.
Awesome. I'll draw 3 long lines to represent the long sticks that are 10 ones put together.
Then we go to our next one, thousands, hundreds, tens. We did our tens. Now it's time for hundreds. 1,234. I have 2 groups of 100 in my hundreds place.
Awesome. I'm going to draw 2 squares for my 2 flat hundreds. Whoa, and what about thousands?
Exactly. I just got really excited too. Remember our model from before? We know that 1,000 is really 10 groups of 100, right? So then I would just put 10 groups of 100, which we know we can represent in a cube, 1,000.
Wow. So that one, we start with the square like hundreds, but to show that it's really a great big cube, will you turn that around and show us? Oh yeah, wow. I'm going to make a little extra edge over here. It's kind of tricky. But there it is. There's my thousands cube. Awesome!
Awesome.
Thank you, Miss Simmons.
No problem at all.
Sometimes, instead of having to come up with the model, we'll be given the model and we'll have to come up with the number. In that case, we're still going to show some of the same work that Miss Simmons taught us, starting with a place value chart. Next, I'm going to start in the ones place. So I'm going to look up here and I'm going to count only the ones. Go ahead and count the ones and then see if you can drag the correct digit to the ones place. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. So I put a 6 in the ones place. Now it's time for the tens place. Count up all the tens rods and drag the correct digit to the tens place. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I put an 8 in the tens place. Now it's time for the hundreds place. This is tricky because I don't see any hundreds. I don't have anything that goes in that place. I'm going to put a 0. If I forget a 0, then later when I fill in my thousands, I'm still going to see a gap and I'm going to put a 0 in then. Last place is the thousands place. Go ahead and count your thousands and drag the right digit to the thousands place. I counted 1, 2, 3 thousands. So I'm going to put a 3 there. And again, I have this 0 in the empty spot. So now I see my number is 3,086. Great job! Now we know that we can take those 10 basic digits and turn them into some really big numbers just by putting them in different places. The place tells us the value. Yay for your super brain! Modeling numbers is going to help us do so much with those numbers in the future. I am so excited.